Hello everyone, once again welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Reviving Destinies. Here we revive destinies. So I am back again. So right now I'm going to talk about the academic stuff, so which will help students and learners who are too passionate to succeed in their academics. So that's what I'm going to share with you right now. So I'm going to share with you very powerful study methods and the solutions which you can have in order to be on a right position in order to succeed in your academics. So that's how it is. So that's what I'm going to discuss with you. So I understand that most of the time learners and the students tend to panic or to be frustrated because of work and how things are. So also I'm going to differentiate things. I'm going to touch very important things where I'm going to separate things like reading and studying. So that's how it goes to do. So that's what I'm going to talk about briefly right now. So remember, we have reading and we also have studying. So that's things which I'm going to analyze a bit. Those are things which I'm going to talk about into this video. So in order to help you. So I will remind you later about reading and studying. So right now I want to start with something very important. So when you want to be on a right position, when you want to succeed in your study things, so that's a powerful tool which I used at high school. But now it becomes difficult for me since the workload is becoming heavy at the university. So the workload did become heavy. So at high school I used to use that strategy. So now I want to use that strategy. It's just that I can't cope. So that's how it is. So but I believe you, a learner at high school, you can do this, or even you, a student whom you can cope to do that. I advise that you can do that. So when you want to succeed in your study, make sure that you are ahead of a lecture, or you are ahead of a teacher, or you are ahead of the syllabus, you are ahead of the study guidelines, or all the criteria which are used in order to arrange your studies. So that's my advice. That's what I'm going to tell you right now. So being ahead of a lecture or being ahead of a teacher is very important, because you have studied something. And as you have studied something, you have something which you know, you have an idea about certain things. Though you might not have understood everything or mastered everything. But when a lecturer or a teacher comes to teach you, while you already know something, you know a bit, it will be more beneficial, it will be more effective than when they are just starting something you don't even know. So that's how it is. So your knowledge which you know will be added as your teacher or your lecture start to tell you things which you're supposed to know. So that's how it is. So being in a class while you have studied something ahead is like you are revising. So this will be something which will be very, very important in your study. So another thing which you have to start, which you have to make sure that you consider very well when you are studying, make sure that you break your work into pieces. So that's how it is. But before I speak about breaking the work into pieces, let me touch this. Make sure that when you are studying, you are on a place, or you are physically well prepared, and you are in a place where you can cope. So most of people they be in a place where they are not psychologically or socially well, or geographically well, and expect to master things. In order to optimize things which you are studying. Make sure that your brain is very, very healthy, and make sure that physically you have the physical strength in order to study very well, and your brain is very, very well. So this will happen when you have enough time to sleep. So when you sleep when you sleep well, and you have enough time to sleep, you don't just sleep 2 hours and wake up while your brain is still tired. It will be very difficult for you to you will end up just study in order to just you are studying. You cannot optimize your stuff when you are studying. So that's how it will happen. So in my language they say, which is something which is not good. So that's how it is. So study when you are very, very well, so that you can optimize everything which you are studying. So now let me touch the breaking your work into pieces. So when you want to master everything you are studying, or when you want to master things which you are studying, most of things you are studying, make sure that you break your work into pieces. So you don't just go to study and want to study everything at a short period of time. No, that's how it is. That's not how it works. Break your work into pieces. When you want to study trigonometry, you study trigonometry, and you don't expect to study everything of trigonometry at the same time. When you study electricity, make sure that you break your work into pieces. When you want to study the Pareto efficient, make sure that you break your work into pieces. So if you do those things, you will manage to remember those things very, very well when you do all those stuff. So breaking your work into pieces will help you master and remember what you have studied very, very well, because you have break your stuff into pieces. So that's a most powerful and a healthy thing to do. So studying is similar to when you are watering a plant. When you are watering a plant, we know that a plant needs enough water. But just because a plant needs enough water, you cannot just come with plenty of water and just pour into the plant and expect it to and have a belief that by doing this you will speed up the growth of the plant. No, it doesn't work like that. Everything has its time. So when you when you have to water the plant, you have to water at that time. Tomorrow you have to water. And the following day you have to water. So make sure that you put enough water on the plant regularly. You don't just do this at the same time. You don't just do it once off. Actually, by doing that, you are killing the plant. So that's how it is. So similar to your brain. Your brain is like a bucket, or it's like a container. So it will contain, let's say for today, it will contain the certain information, and expect to swallow and process that information. You have to have time to swallow and process that information. Then tomorrow or day after tomorrow, you can swallow another information. Then you have to process it also. You process that knowledge also. You don't just put plenty of water in a container. Let's say the container is a 9 kg container, but you expect to carry the 20 liters of water. So that's not how it works. So while the extra water will reach the container, it will become to overflows, and will expect to release the old water which was there. So that's how it is. So most of people study in a way which is not effective, by just putting the information, and end up even have to forgetting other things, because they want to carry everything at a short period of time. You know that you cannot swallow the plenty of food at a short period of time, or also you cannot just eat even if you are depleted. So you have to have time in order to process those things while you are eating, to digest those things. So that's how it is. So studying is like watering a plant. So that's how it is. So another thing is, now I'm going to draw a line between reading and studying. So questions in the exams, or questions in the test, we have different types of questions which will have to be targeted in a different way. So we have what we call the memorical question, or the question of recalling. So the memorical question, the more as you go higher in grades, your questions are no longer memorical. They will no longer become many memorical questions. So that's how it is. The recalling question or the memorical question is just the question where they are asking you, define this, explain this, list this, how many people. Those are a memorical question. How many provinces in South Africa? Who is the first black president in South Africa? You are just recalling the information. You are just recalling those information. You just list, so you only recall. So those type of questions, in order to master them, in order to know them, you have to read them. You have to read. So that's how it is. So by reading, you will recall stuff. You will recall stuff when you are reading them. So reading is not always the thing which you have to use in order to succeed in your exams or your test. Also, you have to study. You have to read and study at the same time. So that's how it is. So we spoke about the recalling question, where you just recall. Also, we have another type of questions, the level of questions. We have what we call the understanding question, the comprehension question. Those are the comprehension question, where you will have to use things which you know. In those type of questions, they test your understanding. So that's how it is. They use that information which you have learned. Then after using that information, they bring it in a different way. So in a different way, in order to test your understanding. So those are called understanding or comprehension questions. So that's how it is. So for you to understand those questions, you have to be a student who study than a student who read. So that's how it is. So the last list of questions, the last two lists actually, is the applying questions, the applying or analysis questions, and also the synthesis questions. So those are the highest level of questions which you can get. So I'm going to analyze a bit about the applying and the analysis question. So the analysis question are questions which you have to use what you have studied in order to apply those situations in a real life questions, or in order to create something which is not there using what you have. You have to synthesize in order to target these questions. You are not just only comprehending, but you are doing the highest level of comprehending. You have to interpret. You have to use the information which you know in order to in order to solve a real life question or analyze something a bit. So most of the time in analysis questions, your explanation which is appropriate is right. So that's how it is. They can start by asking either true or false. Then you will have to substantiate. So the most important thing there, it will be your substantiation. So that's how it is. So if you substantiate something which correspond with which correspond with the truth, actually your substantiation will be more important. Your analysis based on something. So we focus more on how you analyze stuff. The example of the analysis question is, let's say you have studied, they have taught you about electricity and magnetism. Then they start to ask you, what can you do in order to save the life of birds? Okay, let me bring it in that way. So what can you do let's say for the cables, in order to save the lives of people, what can you do for the cables in order not to shock people by electricity for them to die? Those are the types of questions. So those type of questions, you are not going to get everything from the book, but you have to use what you got from the book in order to apply into this thing, in order to analyze what you have been asked for. So what can you do to save the life of people so that they cannot be shocked by electricity? When they are referring to the electricity pipes, they say they can give you a situation where they say birds or people, they are dying because of the electricity. So what can you do as an electrician in order to avoid those things? So those are the analysis questions, the high level of question. So in order those will test your IQ. You are not going to get those from a book, but you have to use what you got from a book in order to target those type of questions. So that's how it is. So thank you very much. If you have watched this video, please don't forget to subscribe and click the notification button. Please, shalom.